Hello everyone! With Poland's presidential election just around the corner, we're bringing you an insider's interview with two reporters who cover the campaign trail daily. Why is this election so pivotal? What does Donald Trump has to do with it all? And why are candidates running around with toy flags like there's no tomorrow? Stay with us for sharp insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Dominika, Agata, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for an invitation.
I'm very sorry to be that one person that forces you all to speak English, but here we are. For those of us outside Poland, could you maybe start by giving us an idea of who the main characters in this presidential election drama are? Who are the main candidates? What do we need to know about them?
It's good that you said main candidates because there are like 13 official candidates. And right now it's like the biggest number we had in history, like in modern history. So I think we should start with the one that is the leader in the polls right now. It's Rafał Trzaskowski. So he is the mayor of Warsaw and he's also the vice president of Civic Platform. This is the party that Donald Tusk, the prime minister, is the leader of. So he is considered as the progressive wing of Civic Platform or even leftist wing. Although when you hear that somebody is describing someone in Poland as leftist, it just means that he's like pro-gay rights or pro-abortion rights, not necessarily like very pro-social equality and economic equality. But I'm not saying that he isn't. It's just that being liberal is like more that I would describe Trzaskowski than leftist.
So that's him. And then who's his kind of next competitor?
So the next competitor is Karol Nawrodzki. Officially, he's presented as an independent candidate, but he is the candidate of Peace, Law and Justice. And right now, he is the head of a entity called IPN. This is Institute of the Remembrance of Poland, like the Polish History Institute, something like that. And Nawrodzki, well, I described him as a historian, but the thing is, like, the people are mostly excited about his past because in the past he has been a boxer, plus a nightclub bouncer, and a hotel bouncer. So he has like this funny, strange background, and he comes from, like from the hood, I would call it. Like, so he has a lot of friends that's been hooligans, sometimes even neo-fascist gang members. So like his background is very problematic, I would say, not only for people who don't like right-wing politicians, but problematic to like a more general audience, I would say. And the third one is in the polls is Sławomir Mensen. So he is one of the leaders of Konfederacja, which is our hard right or far right party, like the biggest one, the most popular one. And if I would have to describe them, they are like kind of like a Polish version of Tea Party. So they are very libertarian, but on the other hand, very, very conservative. And if I would have to describe their program, it would be that we want the taxes to be as low as possible. Actually, the best idea would be to have no taxes at all, to have everything privatized, like the healthcare system, even the education system, and, stuff like that. And he thinks that feminism is a disease, that there is no global warming, and what else? Oh, and obviously that we should kick out all the migrants from Europe because migrants are basically rapists and killers and criminals. And that's it. That's the program.
It feels like a very complete portrait. Thank you. I mean, Watching this from France, I'm particularly interested in this Mensen guy. He seems a lot like a kind of Polish Jordan Bardella to me, watching this from France. He's a young far-right candidate who is good at TikTok. He's popular with young voters. How scared of him should I be?
Are you scared of Bardella?
Interesting question. I think I'm scared of his potential. I'm not that scared of him yet. I don't think he could command a majority, but I'm scared at how good he is at like engaging with young people specifically in the current media climate and using modern media tools and understanding how to use them.
Yeah. But what's the part of his program that you're most scared of?
Immigration, I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
As an immigrant in France, that's it's hard to hear this kind of thing.
Yeah. So now imagine that if you're already scared of Bardella and his stance on migration, so imagine that Mensen has like the same stance on immigration, and he's also hostile towards EU, and he says that eventually we should, get rid of EU or at least, do a poll exit. But on top of that, he's also very homophobic as his whole party. And on top of that, they are also anti-Semitic. It's not that they propose like some anti-Jewish laws, but they're, using a lot of this anti-Semitic rhetoric. They used it years ago. They used it more. Right now, it's not that popular, so they stopped to do that. But, there is this super famous expression of Sławomir Mensen. In 2019, he did like this public lecture in Krakow, where he said that, well, we figured out that our program should have 5 points. We don't want Jews, we don't want gays, we don't want abortion, we don't want EU, and we don't want taxes, obviously.
Taxes, yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah, so this is, and when you ask them, they would say, it was just a figure of word. It's just jokes. You don't have a sense of humor. It's not that we want to kick out all the gays and Jews from Poland. It's just that, well, we don't want them to be more powerful because they are powerful, right? Yeah, so getting back to your question, I would say that for a lot of people like Jordan Bardella, those guys might seem extreme, even for them.
But moving back to the kind of the presidential race as a whole, a few weeks ago, it seemed pretty obvious that Donald Tusk's guy, the Civic Platform guy, was going to win this thing. More recently, his lead seems to have narrowed. What's happened?
As always, there's more than one answer, and it's a mix of image and political issues, I think. First of all, Rafał Trzaskowski has been the obvious candidate for 5 years now, from 2020. And that gives him an edge. He's kind of default choice for a lot of people. But it's also a weakness because people are just tired of him. And now they are looking around for someone new. Secondly, Trzaskowski is kind of boring when it comes to ideas. His messaging isn't that exciting, and he's not really offering anything new. He's got only fairly vague vision, not bold agenda, nothing that people can really connect with or repeat. And I think third reason is that he's the part of the ruling bloc. He's the vice chair of the biggest party in the coalition, Donald Tusk Party, Civic Platform. And the government is right now really unpopular. More people are against than for the government. So if people want to express their dissatisfaction with the government, they cannot vote for Rafał Trzaskowski. They should pick someone else. And also, Trzaskowski, even though he's more progressive, on the more progressive side within the Tusk party, and at the start of the campaign, at the start of the campaign, he was more speaking like someone from the right. And that probably turned off some people with the more progressive views. They are really frustrated because government hasn't delivered the things it promised, like, for example, liberating abortion laws, and their candidate is speaking like right-wing candidate.
Yeah, you mentioned something that I think is very interesting and important, is that there is this massive tilt to the right. It's very surprising to me that even a person like Trzaskowski, I very vividly remember the last campaign from 5 years ago, he would never say things like, oh, I'm such a patriot, I believe in the patriotic economy, about, all this, like him munching on Polish products everywhere he goes. Like there's this, aura of him being this, patriot and Pole. And
here.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. And I guess this is really, how do you think, why have almost all candidates, despite, the fringe candidates and the left candidates, adopted so much of Nawrodzki's and Mensen language, also in terms of, the free economy, libertarianism, that I think this is, they somehow, to a lot of the questions they answer, they seem to be answering in the same manner. Is it just like the service? Like, why are they doing this?
I have two ideas about it. One is very general. If you look back in the last 20 years in Poland, we would almost exclusively have right-wing presidents. The only president who was not from the right-wing party was Bronisław Komorowski, who was like the right wing of Civic Platform. He was like this older guy with a mustache, conservative, a hunter too. So, and this was the liberal president. It's like a common conception that we tend to be more en masse conservative and right wing. And then if you have to win the presidential election, means you have to have this 50% plus one vote more, so you tend to go more to the center, and the center in Poland means you're right wing and a bit conservative. So this is why Trzaskowski talks a lot about, I don't know, he mourned Pope, which he would not normally do, I guess, and some other stuff like that. And the other idea is that I think we all over the Europe we sense this kind of shift in politics, especially when it comes to migration. The same thing is happening, for instance, in Germany when CSU wanted to win back the election. They started to adopt some more right-wing laws on migration because they did not want to give too many votes to AfD. So especially liberals tend to adopt this strategy of adopting some of the program of even far right or right wing parties to win with them. You mimic them to win with them. I don't know if in the long run it's going to be good for all of us and for the liberals themselves, but this is kind of obvious what they are doing. And, Civic Platform is just like another example of this strategy in Europe.
Let's talk about what might happen next. Despite all the shortcomings of Trzaskowski, it seems like he's a very clear frontrunner. I guess, would you agree that only a calamity could stop him from winning this election?
I mean, I think we're both very hesitant to give you like a very clear answer.
Yes, we remember past elections from 2015.
Because what you just said sounds a little bit like this very famous phrase that Adam Michnik, which is like a very famous Polish dissident and the head of Gazeta Wyborcza, in 2015, when Bronisław Komorowski, the liberal guy, was about to, people thought he's about to be re-elected. And
he was supposed to win in the first turn.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So he was supposed to get 50% straight away, easy.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah. There's this famous quote from of Adam Michnik that he said, the only way for him to lose this election is that if he would hit a pregnant nun walking across the streets on the street crossing. This is the only way. So, right. So,
is that what happened?
No,
Not really.
But we call it but right now there is this we use it as a phrase. Is it the pregnant nun here? Like something is going to happen. Like the pregnant nun is gonna appear.
Okay, so sorry for waking up the 2015 demons. I do remember that election very profoundly. So yeah, my question is just, moving on from the actual race, like, do you think that if Trzaskowski wins, do you think that this would actually start a new era in this government's rule, and they will actually start enacting policies that you mentioned? So for example, the liberalization of the abortion laws, or eventually, giving some rights to LGBTQ plus people?
Okay, so what we need to say is that Andrzej Duda, he's really blocking a lot of what this government is trying to do. Judicial reforms, for example. And this is not that surprising, because Andrzej Duda played a big role in pushing through unconstitutional changes to the courts a few years ago. So now he's just defending his own legacy. But there is another thing, and that not everything, not every law was promised, was even made to the president's desk. And for example, abortion rights. Liberalization of abortion law was one of the Donald Tusk key campaign promises. And the anger over this abortion ban introduced by Law and Justice government is what drove a lot of women, a lot of young people to vote in 2023. But Polish parliament even hasn't passed bill on abortion law. Why? Not because of Andrzej Duda blocked it, but because the ruling bloc can't agree on this. Because within this coalition, there are politicians who are against the liberalization of the abortion law. So the Trzaskowski says that he will sign this bill, but the question is, why would these MPs, why would these conservative politicians suddenly change their minds after his election, him being president? So there is a big question mark.
Yeah, what you have to understand about this ruling coalition is that this is a combination of parties and politicians that are, so different. You have liberals, centrist liberals. You have very conservative people from the party that is called PSL, which translates into like People's Party. You have like very leftist politicians. Some of these people have really nothing in common except for that they didn't want Law and Justice to rule for the third term, and to recreate the whole system. So yeah, this is just like we call it anti-peace coalition, because this is what's pushed them together.
So the obstacles are very much coming from the inside as well as the outside. Yes. There is one person who is not running in this election, but he does seem to be this kind of looming presence over it. I'm talking about the other Donald, the one in the White House. How is US politics affecting this election in Poland?
Well, when Donald Trump won the election, they gave the second wind to peace, because they felt like, oh, the wind is changing and our time will come again, just like Donald Trump lost the election 2020 and then he fought back, and everything is possible. And they really, really count on, I would say, this kind of American intervention in the election. When, for instance, when Elon Musk was, pushing AfD and trying to get them, boost them in the polls, they were really hoping he would do the same in Poland. Like, whenever they were tweeting something, they would always tag Elon Musk. Here, listen, Elon Musk, see what they are doing here. They are destroying the freedom of speech here in Poland. Please, Elon Musk, see us, senpai, notice us.
It's a bit desperate.
It's very desperate. Or other example, after Trump was elected, one of the MPs in Polish Parliament said, that we should, praise Donald Trump's election, and suddenly the whole right wing of the parliament started chanting Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Like, imagine
Wow.
what's funniest, they would go in MAGA hats, they would go to Washington to try to talk with, all the MAGA people. And actually, like a week ago, they even managed to organize a meeting, a very brief meeting of Karol Nawrodzki, the peace candidate, with Donald Trump. And the only point of this whole meeting, because obviously, diplomatically, they couldn't even talk, right? Because he's not even like a formal politician. So it was only about to get a picture with him in the Oval Office, doing thumbs up. And they worked on it for months to get a picture with Donald Trump. And what they are trying to do is, talking all the time how Donald Trump hates Donald Tusk and the liberal government. And it means that if he hates them, it means that he's going to pull off the American troops from Poland, and it would leave Poland exposed to the Russian threat, and so on and so on. So it means that you have to elect the MAGA Polish group, which is peace. They strongly believe in Donald Trump leadership, or they pretend to believe in it, but they really think that the Trump administration will somehow help them to first win the presidential election and then overthrow the government somehow and get back in power.
Is that kind of thing actually popular with the Law and Justice voters, though? Do they like Donald Trump? Do they like seeing their guy trying to be cozy with him? Or do they not care or maybe even dislike it?
We've seen recently some polls that showed that the popularity of Donald Trump and America as a whole really dropped down in recent months and years. But it's really hard to say. We all live in bubbles. So if you're a right-wing person, then you watch like Polish version of Fox News, which is called Telewizja Republika, and then you will only hear like how beautifully Donald Trump is kicking out the migrants from America, and how he, revolutionary announced that there are two genders, okay, like men and women. They're really celebrating this stuff. I think that the stance on Russia and the war in Ukraine is problematic, obviously, but they still, if it's still going on, they still have the power to, close their eyes and say, trust the process, it's gonna be great, just like Trump said.
And you need to remember that Poles, generally speaking, are extremely pro-American. People from Poland, they support United States. Whoever is the president of the United States, American dream is something Polish people dream also. People have like personal connections because there was huge migration from Poland to the United States in 80s and in 90s. Generally speaking, Polish people support Donald Trump. However, there is this drop Dominika mentioned, and probably it's because Donald Trump is driving chaos. what he's doing or not doing about war in the Ukraine is also very problematic for Polish people, because we are also generally very anti-Russian, and we'd like this war to stop.
I think it's time to zoom out even more. So, this will be the fourth election in Poland in roughly 18 months. It's been really a lot. And it's not just Poland. There are quite a few countries that are experiencing election overload. We are covering politics on a daily basis. So how do you think, does it actually contribute to people's awareness and interest in politics, and it engages voters and citizens more? Or is it rather this chaotic circus of, non-stop drama, scandals, trying to pull the rug from under your opponent's feet? And it's rather a distraction from us actually being able to advocate and push for the changes we need and the changes we voted for.
I think, first of all, people in general are very tired after this, couple of months, 18 months, as you said, or 14 months of being in a constant campaign. When I compare engagement I've seen and experienced in 2023, just before the parliamentary election, to what is happening right now, it's a big difference. Obviously, the turnout will be much, much lower. And we've seen it last year when we had the local government election and then the European Parliament elections. People were just fed up, constantly campaigning, same faces running for new positions. I think there's a level after people start to be desensitized for politics and being constantly hit with new news and new scandals and new information. And the other thing is that what she said, that if you're constantly in the campaign and you're constantly thinking, in the next couple of months we're gonna have to figure out how to boost our party in the polls or our candidate in the polls, it really prevents you from doing something bold in terms of reforming anything. So yeah, it's a sad thing, but after this election, sometimes we say that after this presidential election will close this long race of being in constant campaign, but it's not true, because we're gonna have another parliamentary elections in next 2 years, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the factor that will stop some reforms.
I would add one more thing, because on the one hand, people are tired, but on the other hand, they need stronger and stronger stimulation just to be interested in politics. And you can see effects of this during presidential debates. There are more of them than it used to be in previous years. But these debates usually are not about that serious issues. The candidates are just trying to make a show, to say something flashy, to grab attention of the audience, and there are not that much substantiation in these debates, and they are not about what really matters for our country.
The gadgets seem to be the thing this year, right?
Gadgets, yes.
Can you tell us about one maybe event involving a gadget? That was funny.
Yeah, so a very famous thing with gadget was that on one of the debates, the peace candidates got 2 flags. One was the Polish flag, and the other was LGBT rainbow flag. And he put the Polish flag on his desk, and then he went back to Rafał Trzaskowski and put the LGBT flag on his desk, saying, "Oh, here, look, he's not the leader of Polish people, he's for those gays,
For God's sake.
And this is the type of how you do politics in Poland. And Trzaskowski...
He's Rainbow Rafał.
Rainbow Rafał.
That's a nice name. I like it.
alliteration too.
So Trzaskowski, obviously, as we told you, tries to distance himself from this progressive image. So during the debate, he kind of like hid this flag somewhere. So at one point, the left candidate Magdalena Biejat said to him, "Why are you so shy? I'm not afraid of the rainbow flag. These are my people. I work for them. I want them to be equal, to have equal rights, and so on. And can I get it back from you? Where did you hit it, Rafał? Give it back to me." And then he came to him and he gave back like this rainbow flag. So she took it, and actually, this was kind of like a powerful move and symbol. And it helped her to rise a little bit in the polls because, the other thing, if we are such a right-wing society, it means that you either have the popular ones are right-wing politicians and liberal politicians, and the leftist politicians are, they are just like for hipsters. I guess. How to say it differently.
Good for her, though. She sounds like the only person who emerged from this rather silly stunt looking anywhere remotely like a decent person. Okay, so there has been
there is an epilogue for that story because
it was beautiful.
Nawrodzki actually, after the debate was over, he and his campaign people, they forgot about this Polish flag and they left it there on the desk. So Trzaskowski and his people got it back, and then for the next debate he came back with that flag and said, "Here, this is how you treat Poland. You forgot about it. You only use it as a prop. This is what being patriotic means to you. Just using Polish flag as a prop." And so it's a thing. It's a thing in the debate.
Oh my goodness. Well, it sounds like an election that hasn't been short of entertainment, even if, maybe it has been a bit short of substance in some places.
It's like a freak fight. More, I would compare it to freak fight.
Yeah. And we are a country, neighbor country to the other country where war is ongoing. This is how our campaign looks like.
I mean, when we zoom out and look at Polish politics as a whole, I think a lot of people listening to this will be following what's happening in Poland with an eye on what it says about how hard it is to restore a democracy once you have had a government that has worked pretty hard to destroy it. And we've talked a little bit about, to what extent it is the president blocking reforms or whether it's stuff that's happening within the governing coalition itself. But if you were teachers marking the government's homework, Donald Tusk's homework, what grade would you give him and his team for their efforts to restore that democracy? Given the obstacles that they do face, do you think they've done pretty well? Or is there a lot more that they still could have done and should have done over the past year and a half that was within their grasp?
I think there's a lot of stuff they still didn't do. Because even if we're talking about the judiciary system, right, there has been plenty of fields that need amendment. And obviously they came up with one or two bills on the Constitutional Tribunal or the National Council of Judiciary. But then again, we still don't have a lot of other bills because still the government they did not decide how they would like to reform it. There's a big quarrel inside of the lawyers' society. So I think it's not like they did all this work in this last year and a half and they just, waiting for the new president to sign all those bills. No, there is still long way to go.
Yeah, and what's lacking is kind of clear direction, clear vision, and proposals not only in the sphere of judiciary system, but also in many other spheres. And like, for example, healthcare, which is like, for me, it's evident because. In Poland, we have, I think, some of the longest lines, like time to wait to see specialists in Europe, and also one of the lowest spending from the budget on healthcare. Our system, like experts say that we are facing a major crisis in healthcare in coming years, but the government recently passed the law that actually cuts health fundings. And why? Because what Dominika said before, just to win a certain group of voters. And like this thing is so like taking everything into consideration, I would say that on the scale from 1 to 6, probably for me the grade would be 3+.
Dominika, what grade would you give them?
I was thinking about 2+, but now I don't want to be the the mean one, so I'll give them 3. Okay.
3. Okay. I think Tusk could live with that. It's been so great to have such close watchers of this election and of Polish politics joining us this week to talk about the serious and less serious side of this very, very watchable election. So thank you both so much for being here today.
And thank you both too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.